up, you guys? As you can see, it's a bit of a snowpocalypse that happened where I live in Wisconsin. April 16th, and we just got dumped on. As you might have saw in some of my other videos, it was starting to warm up and dry out, but this is ridiculous. Pretty much 48 hours, and this is what we got. So I already snowblowed a path out earlier, but now I gotta dig out both Eileen and I's cars because obviously they're buried in here. I'm actually gonna show you guys about how deep some of this is. Oh my god. Oh, you're gonna get stuck. Well, let me bust out this tape measure here and show you guys how deep some of this is. Let's just see how deep it is right here. If I can get this to go in. Oh, you want to push that in?
Well, I'm 4'11".
Yeah, I just want to see if, oh my god. All right, well, let's see, 34 inches. So, I mean, that's almost 3 feet deep in that one area there. That is crazy. You can see the house. I mean, there's drifts going up to the windows. This is crazy. So I figured I'd take this opportunity to film a spontaneous video, and since I get a bunch of questions about the single turbo 135, I'm gonna go over the detailed cost list of what it cost me to put that whole car together single turbo, because I know some of you are on the fence about going single turbo, so I'm gonna break it down on every penny I spent to get this car where it's at. I'll kind of go over the bare necessity cost and then my cost above and beyond if you're going for crazy horsepower. So stay tuned for that. So I just got done digging out our cars from this mess, and I've started compiling all of the parts and all of the prices to do a single turbo on an N54. I keep pretty awesome records of all this stuff. I've owned my 135 for 4 years, and every couple weeks or months I print out every receipt for parts I have bought for this car, just so I have an idea, and so when I come times to sell this car, I can pass this along to the next owner. So I've compiled all the stuff from every receipt and put it in a spreadsheet, and I'm gonna go over that spreadsheet with you guys in 2 chunks. Kind of the first chunk is gonna be the bare minimum, what you would need going single turbo if you're shooting for maybe 500 or less. And then the second half of the parts list is gonna be everything for higher horsepower and maintenance, since you're already in there. And just as kind of a bonus, I just sadly added all of this together, and at the end of the video I'm going to share every dime I've spent on just parts for this car in the 4 years of owning it. So that'll be pretty interesting for you guys, I bet. But anyways, let's dive into this. The first half of the list is pretty short, only because I went with the Doc Race single turbo kit, and thankfully it includes almost everything you need. There are only a few things that I think you guys should be getting. But anyways, I'm going through this as if you buy the Doc Race single turbo kit. In my opinion, it's the best single turbo kit on the market, hands down, for a variety of reasons, you know, quality, speed, and pretty much price. When you factor in everything it comes with, it's just the best. So actually, I have a discount code that you guys can use, N54Jake, at checkout of docrace.com to save yourself $100 on your own kit. So you can knock $100 off this final price. But basically, the Doc Race kit comes with everything you need: precision turbo, tile wastegates, the manifold, the downpipe that connects to your factory exhaust, the dump tubes for the wastegate, a turbo blanket, a heat shield, the air filter, and pretty much all the miscellaneous stuff. So drain and feed lines, vacuum lines, couplers, clamps, gaskets, studs, nuts, you name it, that all is included. So the price of the single turbo kit with my options of a 6266 ball bearing turbo and ceramic coating came to $5,195. So that's where we're going to start this list. after the kit itself, if you're removing the coolant pipe while installing, I recommend at least doing that coolant pipe gasket. That's like an O-ring gasket for $7.95. And then the brass fittings that twist into the max solenoid. Those I got on Amazon for $8.74. So those are two things I would recommend getting. And then I also heat wrapped the downpipe of the kit. So I'd recommend getting a roll of that. I found some on Amazon for $25.98. And then obviously while you're installing this, you're gonna need fresh coolant. That's about 21 bucks. And then engine oil and oil filter for about $60. And really, as far as parts are concerned, that is the bare minimum that I would suggest going with. If you are not installing this kit yourself, you should figure about $1,000 to maybe $1,600 just for the installation of a single turbo kit. And then obviously, aside from all that, you're gonna need a way to control the tune and the boost. So I'm using a JB4, and I have that stacked with an MHD back-end flash that is free. So a JB4 is $479, and then the license for the MHD to flash tunes is $79. So $558 for both of those if you go the JB4 route. Otherwise, you can just do standalone MHD. It's $99 for the flashing module, $69 for the logging module, $49 for the M-Boost module, and then you're going to need a boost box. So a motive boost box controls the boost with the standalone MHD, and that's $200. And then plus a custom tune, because that doesn't come with any off-the-shelf tune. You're going to have to pay for that from whoever your tuner is. So the total of all that, I'm sure, comes to close to the price of the JB4 plus MHD, maybe even more. And then really, I've included this in the first half of this video, a charge pipe and some spark plugs. Just because if you're doing this, you should not be on the plastic factory charge pipe. You're gonna blow that up. And then some spark plugs as well. So a VRS charge pipe and tile blow-off valve are $420. And then I'm using two-step Kohler NGK 97506 spark plugs. So those are $90. And then you can get away with the factory intercooler, but I would recommend at least a 5-inch or something. But the total for that first part, the bare minimums with everything I just talked about, labor included, came out to $7,124.92. So I'm sure you might even be able to cut corners from this already cheap list if you went with a different turbo kit or pieced together a used kit or used parts and whatnot, but this is the minimum I'd feel comfortable running on an N54 car. So just ballpark around $7,000 if you're planning on just getting away with that, shooting for 500 horsepower or less. Now is the fun stuff. So this list is going to be all the modifications you'll need for high horsepower and some stuff to replace while you're in there installing a single turbo kit. So I'm going to start off, since I was just talking about an intercooler, I have the VRSF 7.5-inch race intercooler. That is $720. I'd highly recommend this intercooler. I've done back-to-back logs, and this thing just is a workhorse. So I'd highly recommend that. The next thing is the clutch and flywheel. If you have an automatic transmission, you can disregard this. You might want to look into flashing that trans though, and I believe XHP has good flashes for that, but I am not as well versed on that stuff because I have a manual transmission. So I have the Spec Stage 3 Plus clutch, that is $900, and an M Factory single mass flywheel for $479. So those two things will let me go to 700 horsepower or so, maybe even a little more. I have ran a 335 IS clutch when I was just maxed out stock turbos, full bolt-ons, and that held up great. So if you're looking for a budget-friendly option, if you don't plan on going all the way to 700, that'll probably take care of you for a while. I'll also include a link to that. All of this stuff is going to be in the description with the part, the price, and the link. So you guys can check down there for that stuff. And I hope to have a rolling tally of all the pricing of this stuff as the video is going on. So after the clutch and flywheel, we have the Precision Raceworks Ignition Coil Kit. That was $479. As you start to crank up the boost, you do not want misfires, and unfortunately, the more power you get, the more misfires happen. So if you don't want to go with that kit, there is a Bimmer Life R8 coil kit for upgraded coils, or I would at least recommend doing the OEM coils. Just get a new set of coils, a fresh set in there, because these do go bad. But so far the Precision Raceworks kit has been working well. I also got a Precision Raceworks Stage 3 low pressure fuel pump kit for $718.99. And again, that is for ED5 use and high boost. You can do a Stage 2 pump for closer to that 500 wheel horsepower range, or at least a Stage 1 pump if you're up in that first bracket again of just real light duty budget build. But you're going to need some of that for the fueling. And then to aid the high pressure fuel pump, I have port injection. So I did a black market parts port injection kit for $680. That kit is awesome, comes with everything you need in that aspect. So I'd highly recommend that. And you need to control the port injection kit. So I have a BMS JB4 port injection controller. If you don't have JB4, you're going to need the split second AIC6 controller. But the BMS one is $299. So that auto tunes, you don't need to flash it like the AIC6. After that, I have some auxiliary stuff in here. So a catch can, I have the BMS catch can, that's $179. I would recommend that at the bare minimum. Some people plug headports and go crazy on venting crankcases and external catch cans and whatnot, but I stuck to a pretty simple approach with that basic catch can and an RB PCV valve for $40. I also have a 3.5 bar T-map sensor and adapter. That's $110. This is needed when you're going 20 PSI or higher, just to monitor that boost. And I also have in here front O2 sensors. Since I had 120,000 miles on my last pair, the OEM pair that had been in there, from stock turbos to downpipes to the MMP twin downpipes to now the single turbo, I wanted a fresh set. So I ordered from FCP Euro. I'd recommend them for these, especially just because of the lifetime warranty. Single turbo kits are known to burn up front O2 sensors. So I just got a pair of the front OEM ones, the Bosch ones, for $187.38. You can also do ADV sensors or NTK sensors, but I just wanted a lifetime warranty, so I went the Bosch route, the OEM route on that. And just for peace of mind, I also did rear O2 sensors for $87.58, just because again, those had 120,000 miles. And the next one here is a pretty big expense, Index 12 injectors. So the direct injectors, just for the motor, I would recommend having a fresh set of injectors in there, only because as you start playing around with horsepower, the last thing you want is a leaky injector, or really any of those old problems with the earlier Index injectors. I have on here a kit from ECS Tuning that includes the injectors, all the seals, everything you need, for $1,487.28. I have all 6 new Index 12 injectors. Just for peace of mind, I did those a while ago when my last ones were leaking and causing some cold start misfiring problems. I have after this a new valve cover. Again, just because I had one that had 120,000 miles on it, it was leaking. The PCV routing is integrated into our valve covers, and sometimes those can get blocked. I just wanted a new one with this new setup, A, to stop the leak, and B, so I sleep better at night. If you order from FCP Euro or ECS Tuning, it comes with the valve cover itself, the gasket, all the bolts, everything you need, all as a kit. I paid $341.46 for that. Since you'll be dropping the subframe or pulling the motor to install this, it's the perfect time to do your oil pan gasket. Mine was also leaking. BMWs love to leak. That was $32.67. You also need the oil pan bolts, since those are aluminum. Once aluminum bolts are removed, they need to be replaced. Those bolts are $19.21. And since this is a good time to do it while the oil and coolant are all removed, the oil filter housing gaskets commonly leak on an N54. So I replaced those again at $13.94. And while the subframe is dropped, it gives you a good time to replace the engine mounts. I actually looked at both of mine when doing the install, and the passenger side motor mount was ripped. The rubber part there was torn. So I ordered a new driver and passenger side motor mount. Those came to $156.43. And then the flywheel bolts. And again, this only applies for manual transmission. Anytime the flywheel comes off, I recommend replacing the flywheel bolts themselves. So that set of bolts was $19.60. And then the aluminum transmission bolts, those bell housing bolts again are aluminum, and that set was $10.95. And since I did the engine mounts, I figured why not do the transmission mounts, since those had the same mileage. So I actually upgraded those to polyurethane transmission mounts for about 50 bucks. And then the serpentine belt, again just mileage, that was $19.33. Other than that, the only thing I haven't talked about is the custom 3-inch exhaust that I just had fabbed up over at Legend Auto. They knocked it out of the park on that. That was $640. I would recommend getting an upgraded exhaust when you're doing this type of stuff, just because you can get away with the stock exhaust. I would at least decat it or put an axle back on it, but 3-inch will get you a little more power. Otherwise, since I have 1 Series, VRSF doesn't offer an upgraded exhaust, but for you 335 guys, they have a 3.5-inch full exhaust for 800 bucks. So that's not a bad price for a pre-made exhaust. One other thing I'm super excited about is, since I haven't mentioned it on the channel yet, I just paid $925 as a down payment for the Dock Race intake manifold. I'm sure if you're active on any Facebook groups or forums, you've seen John posting some prototype images of that. It's coming along great, and he's saying everyone should have theirs about June. So be sure to subscribe now if you haven't already. That intake manifold is going to be badass. I'm going to give you guys first impressions, unboxing, and a DIY install video on it. So you'll have to stay tuned. And if you've been following me already for a while, you'll know that before this whole single turbo setup even crossed my mind, I blew my motor on my old hybrid setup. So in this total cost, at the very bottom, I've included the used engine I had to buy. Unfortunately, I found, low compression on the 3rd cylinder last time around, and I had to spend $2,362.50 on a used engine from a local junkyard with 90,000 miles. So everything that I have spent, I went through all these receipts on every little piece, every little part for this single turbo install and new motor, and all the maintenance items. I have spent a total of $19,151.66 on just the single turbo setup. That's not the whole 4 years of ownership. Once you include this first half of receipts for all performance and all visual and all wheel and all every single upgrade I have on my car, that came to a total of $32,646.82. I paid $16,900 for the car, so I'm almost $50,000 into this freaking thing.
Fuck! 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 Oh!
That's just crazy to me. Over 4 years. I mean, I could have bought a lot of crap with this. I did buy a lot of crap with this. But that's wild to me. So, that doesn't include me selling other parts or any labor or any just like random trips to Advance Auto to buy random stuff. That was all stuff that I could find receipts for. It's just crazy, you know, to take care of these cars. It does get expensive, but if you've seen my videos of me driving this thing, the smile and the joy of driving them, I mean, it's totally worth it. It's a good hobby to have. So that's pretty much the end of this video. I hope this gives you guys some good information if you're thinking about going single turbo. So far, I love it. Like I said, I'm just waiting for some weather to warm up. I have an awesome tune someone just sent me that might be pretty groundbreaking. So you guys are gonna get the first video of that, a new little feature. So stay tuned, be sure to like this video, subscribe, comment below. I will reply to anyone that comments on these videos, and let me know what you think of all this. But until next time, peace.